From the Arkansas Weather Watchers Weather Center, this is a winter storm update.
Well, good evening, Arkansas. This is Chief Forecaster Cameron back here once again, here to give you guys a quick live stream going over what to expect during the overnight hours, kind of a recap of the winter storm here. This is going to be the last time you guys will see us live for this winter storm, as things will be wrapping up tonight and throughout tomorrow. Obviously, Derek will be here tomorrow to kind of give you guys a recap of the winter storm and the evening forecast stuff, and also just kind of a recap of everything and going over the next work week here. So we're going to get to your questions. We're going to talk about what to expect throughout the overnight hours here. Biggest thing, and I love Aaron, Aaron, he said it in the comments, make sure that you're being patient with us. There's a lot of us that we're tired. We've been doing this for an entire week. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Okay, so first and foremost here, we had that activity at wave 1 that came through last night. That has pushed away here. We had a little bit of a lull in activity today. Kind of had a little bit of people skeptical about, is it over with? Is the winter storm done? It is far from over with, folks. We talked about this earlier on. We've got wave number 2 that has developed out here towards the west. That activity still has to come through Arkansas as we move into tonight and into the first part of your Sunday morning. So what we're expecting with this activity is just kind of the same what we saw with wave 1, snow, sleet, and the potential of freezing rain here across the area. So Derek, let's go ahead and kind of talk to you guys about the current temperatures, if you could pull that up real quickly here. So should be coming up here in just a second here. You got it? All right, here we go. Sorry. So current temperatures right now are just brutal, pretty much across the state of Arkansas. 8 degrees up there in Mount Home, 12 degrees in Fayetteville, 14 here in Little Rock, 18 in El Dorado, 21 in Crossett, 19 in Texarkana. Derek, we finally got Texarkana back online. They were out all day long. They've been dealing with significant icing and significant power outages down there. 21 in DeQueen, 16 in Mena, 19 in Fort Smith. We've got 14 in Jonesboro, 16 in West Memphis, and also 19 up there in Blytheville and 17 in the Helena area here, guys. Feels like temperatures are even worse across the board with temperatures in the negatives and stuff like that. I don't have that in the graph system, but it feels like temperatures are absolutely just brutal across the area here. So, Derek, let's go over to our next graphic real quickly here, and that's going to be the road conditions right now. And we have had a significant issue along Interstate 30 all day long with emergency crews working on wrecks. We still got 3 areas that have had wrecks here along Interstate 30 and down in Southwest Arkansas. Folks, I want to make this clear, straightforward, and as blunt as possible, okay? I understand the need of going, and I understand the need of being able to get out and travel because cabin fever will set in at some point. These roads are trashed. If you have zero business being on these roads, you don't need to be out there, okay? Unless you are an emergency manager, and it's an emergency, or you are an essential worker, or you work with RDOT and those other guys, okay? If you don't have any reason to go out, you don't need to be going out, folks, okay? We've been stressing this for the last couple of days, and I know we can't keep everybody home, and I understand that, but this right here is just going to cause issues for RDOT, and it's going to cause issues for the emergency management, okay? Those guys, they have to get out no matter what. They have to. There is no staying home for them. There is no, sitting around and watching movies and stuff like that. You work for emergency management, you have to get out. Rain, snow, sleet, or shine. We need to make sure that those guys have enough room to work, and those guys can not have to worry about people getting out every 5 seconds and stuff like that, because they are trying to make sure that those roads are clear for you guys and trying to make sure that they can make the environment better, pretty much the road conditions better for us. So, like I said before, everybody's story is different, and I understand not getting anybody for having an accident. But, folks, if you don't have to get out, don't get out, okay? This is a situation that you're just going to have to be in the house unless you're an essential worker or you are working with emergency management, or it's an emergency, because emergencies do happen in situations like this. But if you have no reason to get out, because there's nothing open. There's no restaurants open. There's no grocery stores open. There's no malls open or anything, okay? So road conditions right now are just terrible across the board, especially down here in South Arkansas and in Southwest Arkansas. Up to the north, as you can see, most of this is snow covered up here. And this is why I was saying Snow is a little bit easier to get around on, but further to the south down here where we've had sleet and freezing rain, this is where you're going to have all these travel issues across the board. So, and once we get into tomorrow night and into Monday, once that precipitation comes to an end, what's going to happen is anything that does try to melt tomorrow and Monday, it's going to refreeze once that sun goes down. So you're just going to compile these issues, these travel issues, all the way until the middle part of next week here, guys. So let's go ahead and go over to our next graphic. Yes, I did see that comment, by the way, from Angela. She said it is thundering in Hope right now down there in Southwest Arkansas. I talked about this a couple of days ago, that some of that activity could be convective. Not expecting any severe weather or anything like that, but don't be surprised tonight, especially with wave 2 moving in, that there could be some rumbles of thunder, maybe a couple of strikes of lightning. We'll talk more about that coming up here in just a little bit. So this is for the additional snowfall totals. This is pretty much from now all the way to the end of the event. We're going for 3 to 6 inches of snow all the way from Jonesboro all the way over to Fayetteville and Fort Smith. We think in this corridor from Memphis along Interstate 40, all the way over to the Waldron and Mena area, we're thinking an additional 1 to 3 inches of snow could be possible. We've seen some great accumulations across western Arkansas and even over to central Arkansas, where some folks, Derek, I think earlier, what was Little Rock's total? About what? You go ahead. You know a little bit more about it than I did.
So just to let everybody know, so Little Rock finished with the snow round. Just depending where you were at in the metro, National Weather Service had a little over 6 inches. Reports out of Sherwood, 7 inches. Cabot, 7 inches. Conway, 8 inches. Actually, at the airport, we finished with 5.5.
And so we're going to have an additional 1 to 3 to kind of add to that. So that actually verifies our original forecast of a total, for a storm total, of 6 to 10 inches of snow across this area here. So that's what we've got across central Arkansas. And then further to the south from here, sleet and freezing rain will continue to be the predominant precipitation type down there in southern Arkansas. We're thinking a dusting to about a 1/2 inch of snow could still be possible. We've brought down the power outages here. Now, I want to stress that the power outages, we still could have some issues down here in southern Arkansas. I want to kind of give a quick shout out to Entergy. They've been doing an amazing job trying to respond to every single power outage out there. I know down in North Louisiana, where you've had significant freezing rain down there, you have a lot of power issues down there. But for so far, for our side, on Arkansas side, Entergy's been doing an amazing job of trying to get to those power outages as fast as humanly possible here. So quick shout out to them. And also, like I said before, a quick shout out to ARDOT, the Arkansas Department of Transportation. They've so far, they have done a great job of going out there, plowing the roads, getting them, make sure they're being treated. They're trying to speed this process up for you guys here. But all we're saying is we got to make sure that we stay off those roads as much as possible, because the more we stay off the roads, more they can get out, get the roads cleared, and then everything gets back to normal a little quicker than we all are anticipating here, okay? So let's go over to our next graphic, Derek, and this is going to be for the rest of this winter storm here. This is from tonight all the way through tomorrow afternoon here. Predominantly heavy snow. That continues to be the case up here in North Arkansas. I know you guys had some drier issues at first. That has been worked out. We're still thinking heavy snow will be possible up there. From Blytheville, Memphis, all the way over to the Mena and Waldron area, this is where you're going to have the potential of sleet, freezing rain, but this will end as snow as we move into tomorrow morning and into tomorrow midday, because what happens is your system, as it pulls out towards the east, the moisture behind it, the cold air behind it will wrap around, and whatever precipitation type you're at, sleet or freezing rain, everything should come to an end as snowfall across the area. That's why we still have that 1 to 3 inches of snow for central Arkansas. And then further to the south from there, from I would say from Helena, Pine Bluff, Monticello, all the way over towards Hope and DeQueen, we're looking at the potential of wintry mints, heavy freezing rain down here, and sleet. This will also end as snow down here, primarily late morning into the early afternoon hours of your Sunday. And then down here in far southern Arkansas, we're still expecting the potential of freezing rain. It could be rather significant, especially the closer you get to the Louisiana border as we move into the night and into tomorrow here, okay? So, Derek, let's go over to our next one. This is going to be for the freezing rain potential. Now, this is going to be for tonight all the way through tomorrow morning into early tomorrow afternoon. We're going to talk about specific timing coming up here in just a second. But from Memphis all the way over along Interstate 40 over to Waldron, we're talking a trace that was a 1/10 of an inch of freezing rain. Now, there's a difference, like I said before, between freezing rain and sleet. Okay, sleet is those little ice pellets. Freezing rain is literally rain. It just freezes on contact. That's what freezing rain is. So what I'm thinking in this general area, there could be somebody, especially the closer you get to the 630 corridor, that may see 2/10 of an inch of ice. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, literally. Further to the south from there, we're taking a 1/10 of an inch of ice, all the way up to a 1/4 of an inch of ice from Helena. That's going to be Stuttgart, all the way over towards the Daisy area. That's where we're thinking we could see over to a 1/4 of an inch of ice. Further to the south from there, from Pine Bluff, Arkadelphia, Sheridan, Hope, into the Queen area, you've already seen ice down here. You've already seen some issues. We're thinking there could be another 1/4 of an inch, possibly upwards to a 1/2 an inch of ice. And then obviously down here in South Arkansas, Magnolia, El Dorado, Crosset, Lake Village, Texarkana, the same areas that have seen off and on freezing rain, sleet, and even a little snow down there. We're thinking freezing rain totals will definitely be there as we move into the overnight hours tonight and into the first part of your Sunday morning here, okay? So this is going to be your sleet totals across the area. Pretty much a slam dunk for the sleet potential from West Memphis all the way over to Mena, down to the Queen, over towards Holt, Camden, and the Monticello area. We're thinking 1 to 2 inches of sleet is still possible. Now, I want to address some confusion. I'm not even looking at the comments. I know there's going to be some confusion with this. Some folks have already gotten the winter precipitation. Pretty much everybody should have gotten some accumulating precipitation. Either it's freezing rain, sleet, or snow. This is additional to what you have right now. Okay, it's not what, a storm total. It's what you've gotten so far with wave 1, and then wave 2's coming in, and what you're going to get with wave 2. This is just additional accumulation from tonight all the way to midday tomorrow. That's all what that is. This is not a storm total amount. This is just, hey, you've already seen, let's say, like Little Rock, for example. Little Rock's already seen 5 inches of snow. We're expecting an additional 1 to 3, which will make your storm total 6 to 10, if that makes sense. Okay, so further to the south from here, down there in southern Arkansas, 1/4 of an inch upwards to a 1/2 an inch, maybe an inch of sleet down there. I think freezing rain will continue to be an issue, especially the further south you go down into North Louisiana and into west Mississippi, Northwest Mississippi at this point here. Derek, let's go over to our next one, and this is going to be the timing. I'm going to kind of back up a little bit so you guys kind of see the overall timing here. Now, I want to stress with this too, this is just for overnight and into tomorrow morning, okay, tomorrow midday. Okay, most, if not everybody right now is seeing the winter precipitation ongoing. If you're not seeing it ongoing right now, give it another hour or two and you will start seeing that winter precipitation set in. For our folks up there in northwestern Arkansas, we're going for about, let's say, pretty much now all the way till 8 o'clock in the morning, so pretty much all overnight and into daybreak tomorrow morning. Precipitation should come to an end over there by 8 o'clock. Things are going to move rapidly to the east. We go to zone 2 over here. That's going to be from Batesville, Mountain View, all the way down to Little Rock, to El Dorado, Magnolia, Texarkana. We're going to end things around lunch tomorrow. And then for our folks over here in eastern Arkansas, from Blytheville, Jonesboro, all the way down to Monticello, Lake Village, and Crosset, we're going to end things just a little bit after lunch tomorrow, around 2 o'clock. I think by 4 tomorrow afternoon, this is a wrap-up story. Derek, like I said, Derek's going to have your evening forecast tomorrow night, which your 7-day forecast, all that good stuff, and it's going to recap the winter storm here in Arkansas by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening here, okay? So, Derek, I think that's pretty much for all the graphics so far, outside of travel. Yeah, and this is something I've already addressed. It's just extreme travel across the board, guys. Like I said before, if you don't have to be out, don't get out. We've got to give RDOT as much room as possible to get the roadways cleared and stuff like that here. So, Derek, if you got any questions, let's go ahead and talk about those questions real quickly here. And I've gone over pretty much everything. It's a really good recap of what has been a pretty historic winter storm for us here in Arkansas. And like I said before, this is not over. We're expecting that round over there in Oklahoma and Texas to move into Arkansas as we move into tonight here. Okay, so I'm assuming there wouldn't be any snow and freezing rain at the same time. So it's possible you can get that to happen. Derek, have you seen it more than I have? I know you can get freezing rain and sleet at the same time. But I think you saw it earlier actually. You know, when the precipitation started with wave 1, we had that freezing rain, sleet, and then freezing rain and snow at the same time. So you can get that to occur. And actually, matter of fact, down in El Dorado, you know, there's been some ports down there in South Arkansas that they've had some light snow earlier today that's transitioned to freezing rain and that sort of stuff here. So the main time frame for snow, I would go for probably 11 o'clock tonight all the way till 8 o'clock in the morning. This is going to be more than likely during the overnight hours for northwestern Arkansas and much of the state. Things should clear out very quickly throughout tomorrow morning. We end this by lunch on Sunday here, okay? So what is the freezing rain looking like across the area? Let's go ahead and go back over to the freezing rain graphic, Derek. And that is for down there in southwestern Arkansas. So pretty much down here in southwest Arkansas, once again, we're still talking about 1/4 of an inch of ice, upwards to 1/2 inch of ice down there with that additional activity moving in. And I will say, that's going to be Caitlin. Caitlin, I will say that there could be some thunder and could be some lightning that you may experience down there in southwest Arkansas with that activity. No, folks, there's no severe weather. There's no tornadoes or anything like that coming. You can get thunderstorms without all that other nonsense. But don't be surprised if you see that during the overnight hours here. And that's what's going to help get you guys those freezing rain totals down there in southwestern Arkansas. So freezing rain coming down pretty good south of El Dorado. I'm an El Dorado native, Lisa. So thank you for that report. Can you talk about the temperatures in the atmosphere, especially down south here in southern Arkansas? Yes, I can. Derek, if you could do me a quick favor, go to the model data. Well, you're the one that pulled the question up. Let's go ahead and it's gonna be your 850.
Don't mind me.
Oh, he's fine. He's learning all this stuff over here. We're getting you taken care of, Michael. All right, so let's go down to it's gonna be your 850 temperature, and you don't have to go out. It's just your current. And I can kind of talk to you guys about what's going on here. And you know, Michael, actually, what's funny is I could show you a sounding and kind of explain it more in detail, but it'd put half the audience to sleep. So, all right. So is that what level is that, Derek?
850.
Okay, you're out all the way to 48 hours out. So go back to hour 0. All right. So can you move it up just a little bit so we can see? There we go. All right. So Michael, I'll explain what's going on here, and this is mainly the reason why you're seeing freezing rain and sleet down here in southern Arkansas, okay? So this line right through here, okay, this is what we call in our weather world the 0 degree Celsius line, or the rain snow line, pretty much, okay? This separates at the surface, and this is where things get a little kind of confusing. This would normally separate your rain and your snow. But in this instance, this line, this 0 degree line, is what's separating your snow from freezing rain and sleet, okay? So let's take South Arkansas, for example, okay? You've got temperatures down there it looks like that's 5 to 6 degrees Celsius down here. That equates to, don't hold me on my math, but that equates to temperatures in the upper 30s, low 40s in Fahrenheit, okay? So what's going on here is, everything starts as snow, right? Okay. There's a warm air layer. This is your warm air layer. Okay. This is what your snow that's developing at first is running into. So what happens is it melts. But then what ends up happening is it gets down to where we are, what you see on a 24/7 basis, your surface layer. Your surface layer is extremely cold right now. Brutal. Your temperatures are in the teens and 20s across the area. So what ends up happening is snow develops, it melts in this layer, and then it gets down to us, it gets into that sub-freezing air. But the question is, it's time. How much time does it have in that sub-freezing air? Sleet is where it has a good amount of time before it hits the ground. Freezing rain is where it doesn't have the time to do it, and it falls as regular rain, and then it freezes on contact because you're getting rain at 15 degrees, if that makes sense. So we have a graphic that explains this a little more, and I could easily post this on the page if that don't put people to sleep. But that pretty much explains what's going on. And the reason why North Arkansas is seeing the snow is because their entire column is below freezing. Like everything from top to bottom is below freezing. So the snow that develops at the beginning doesn't have any warm air to deal with. So it falls down to the surface as snow, if that makes sense here. And like I said, I know getting into this could get really, really confusing very, very fast. But that's pretty much the layman's terms of it. Is everything starts off as snow. It runs into that warm air. And then what happens is the difference between freezing rain and sleet is sleet, there's a little bit of, the raindrops have a little bit of time in that cold air to refreeze as ice pellets, and then it falls. Freezing rain is, it doesn't have any time to get into that cold air until it's literally on the ground. And by the time it happens there, it's already fallen as a raindrop, and then it just becomes a sheet of ice, if that makes sense here. Next winter storm, I'm going to make a graphic, a video that it shows the difference between the two. If everybody would like to see something like that, I could easily make that done. Yeah. Oh, man, Bo again. Look, man, I'm going to have to hold you to that because I'm starving. So I appreciate him, man. He's cool people. He's just giving me a hard time on the live stream. So how much longer do you think it will take to fill in the moisture? Give it a couple hours. I think next 2 to 3 hours. I think what happened was there was separation between the two waves, a little bit of dry air between the two, but I say by midnight, everybody should be back into winter precipitation. And this is going to carry for much of the overnight hours into the first part of your Sunday across the area here. So really good questions, guys, by the way, that we're seeing here. Let's see here. I like the Weather Center setup here. Matt, thank you so much. A lot of hard work. Quick shout out to our chief engineer, Ryan. He made all this possible. I mean, we've got green screen setups. We've got new graphics and everything. And also quick shout out to our sponsors as well for really helping us out and getting us new graphics and everything like that. So all of that wouldn't have been possible with all that, Matt. Let's see here. Looking great in the black jacket and the gray shirt. Yeah, you guys like this, by the way? Y'all like this? I went away from the other shirt into the gray shirt for tonight here. So now I want to make this clear too, by the way, everybody that's listening. This is only for special events like this. Okay, I'm not going to be up here in this suit, and it's a marginal risk for severe weather. So I want to make that clear. We get into the spring. You guys see me in this nice suit. We're talking a moderate risk or a high risk or something like that. I'm not wearing this when it's just a marginal risk. So this is only for like winter storms, big special events for us here in Arkansas. But I appreciate all the comments I've gotten of the suit over the last couple of days, Derek. So let me tell y'all were spot on in Central Arkansas with the sleep. That's just why I follow y'all. Thank you so much, Mandy, for that. Also, I want to kind of throw this out too, because we appreciate y'all for following us, but there's also great sources out there, the ones that don't put the GFS out there on a whim, but there's also great sources out there, and we're willing to work with anybody in the state as long as, they're reasonable and they have the same goal in mind as us, if that makes sense here. So we appreciate that comment here. So what does Monday look like for Southern Arkansas? Now, this is where cabin fever is going to start showing its ugly head next day or two. Today was the easy part. You had snow, you had sleet, you had all this precipitation. Today was the easy part, staying in the house. The next 2 days is where things are going to get into the crunch period, because the sun's going to come out, your conditions are going to get clear, and the temptation of getting out of that house is going to get real, right? Okay, so Monday, your main roads, and I'm talking your interstates, your state highways and stuff like that, I think by midday Monday, It's not going to be perfect, but I think the job that RDOT has done, I think there will be some degree of travel by Monday afternoon. Okay, I want to make this clear. This is not going to be hey, everything's going to melt off and it's done and over with. I think it's just going to get to a reasonable point for where emergency vehicles can get through, and your essentials can get through without having to battle the roadways, if that makes sense here. So on Monday's going to be a day that you're probably going to be in the house majority of the day. Okay, the back roads are going to be trashed for much of next week. There's no getting around that. Your main roads are, I think by Monday afternoon we'll get to a certain point, but I think Tuesday, especially Wednesday, we should make some headways with the main roads and interstates. Go ahead.
So I want to add to that, if your roadways are what you say, halfway decent, or your main roads are decent by Monday afternoon at noon, I will buy you a whole doggone family pack of Popeye's fried chicken. Y'all heard it live.
Oh man. All right, y'all hold him to that, because I'm starving over here. Y'all hold him to that. But yeah, it'd be a miracle. It would be a miracle if travel is back to somewhat of a decent point by Monday. I think Tuesday and Wednesday will probably where things start to get back to normalcy across the area here. So is northeastern Arkansas going to see a lot of freezing rain, like power outages? No, I think up there in northeastern Arkansas, you should remain primarily snow. There could be sleet at times, especially early on. That's Julie. Especially early on, Julie. But I think what ends up happening is it switches over to all snow. I think you guys are just too far north to see any freezing rain or power outage issues up there. I think you guys' issue will be the snow and the sleet across the area here. Okay, so will this sleet in Batesville transition over to snow, Brian? When it does, it's going to be late tonight into the first part of your Sunday. That's when your colder air will move in, and that's where everything will transition over as we move into the first part of your tomorrow morning here. Okay, so Derek, if you do me a favor, let's go back over to radar real quick, so we can kind of show everybody what's going on with that. Yeah, I saw Rose. Oh boy, I don't think I want to see you in a suit again if that's the case. Yeah, I want to make this a special event suit, because what's going to happen is if I come up here in this suit every single day, you guys are going to get burnt out on it. The excitement's going to go away from it. But I have a lot of combinations I'm wanting to do with this, especially in the spring. So I'll let you guys know about all that once we get closer here. But yeah, if I'm up here and it's a marginal risk, stuff like that, you guys are gonna get burnt out on it. So I want to make it to where we have, it's attention grabbing, when we have those big events and stuff like that, not just for the little minuscule ones here. So let's see. Yeah, what you got?
Oh, I'm just rolling through it.
Oh, you're fine. No, you're good to go. Just looking at current radar right now, so you can see that activity here. Now, I'm looking at South Arkansas right now, and folks are probably thinking that's snow. That's not snow, folks. I'm more confident enough that is more likely sleet and freezing rain. It's just what's going on here is the radar has such a hard time depicting between snow, freezing rain, sleet. It pretty much is like a default. It defaults it to snow. But majority of this activity down here in South Arkansas is mainly freezing rain and sleet, and then further to the north from there here. So I see Mindy's coming. Yeah, let me go ahead and get my shovel. Go ahead and shovel my roll. I'm trying to get that shit. Hey, it's coming out of his pocket, folks, not mine. All right, like he owes me. He owes me already. So y'all gonna have to get behind the line. So let me see. Also, everyone be super careful shoveling snow. It could cause. Oh wow. I did not know that. Oh, wow. That okay. Thank you for that comment. Wow, I did not. I guess it's because it's strenuous because you're depending on how fast you're going. Okay, wow. Okay, yeah, definitely. That's great information. That was great. Let's see here. I appreciate you for all the winter storm information. It has been super helpful, and keep up the good work at Northern Naysayers. Yep. And about that too, man. I try not to give them I try not to give them entertainment and try to give them the spotlight. it just becomes hard sometimes because I don't want the other people seeing those comments and then they just, they leave and stuff like that. So sometimes if it gets out of hand, I do want to make sure that my crew is make sure that my crew's being heard, if that makes sense here. So what is the power outage potential for Hot Spring County? Thank you so much for your hard work. I think if you are going to have power outage issues, it's going to be down here in southern Arkansas along 82. I think that's where you're going to have your majority of your power outage issues. And like I said, a quick shout out to Entergy. They've done an amazing job staying on top of those power outages. I mean, we had some over there in southwest Arkansas and southern Arkansas last night. Their crews have been working extremely hard to get to every single one of those outages. That's why I think the power outage threat itself has come down pretty significantly because it's just Entergy staying on top of it. Now, obviously, down in North Louisiana, you got family and friends down here, especially along Interstate 20. They have had some significant issues with freezing rain here. But on the Arkansas side of things, Entergy's been doing an exceptional job. Thursday's mainly going to be sleet and snow. I think if you're going to have freezing rain, it's going to be a South Arkansas problem. Further to the north, I think it's going to be primarily snow and sleet across the area here. Okay, so I'll take a few more questions here, and I think about 9:05, Derek, we're going to go ahead and go. What you got? What's up?
So one thing I want to take on this, we've been getting a lot of questions about schools. So again, it's Saturday night. We're not going to know about schools till Monday. The biggest thing is ArkansasWeatherWatchers.org/closings. We will have all your closings there on Monday morning. And we're going to try to get them up on the Roku channel. I think maybe accidentally. But try to give you the old school feel of watching your school being scrolling at the bottom of the screen. But just for everybody there's been a ton of questions about it. Because a lot of us are also wondering when those kids like myself are going to go back to school. I would say at the earliest would be Wednesday right now. The problem is with this upcoming week, you're going to be below freezing through Tuesday, Wednesday at the earliest. Then you're going to drop right back below freezing on Thursday and Friday. So whatever freezes to the roads is going to be there all week. We're still watching the end of next week for another storm system that could come through here. So again, plan for the kids to be out of school, but also make them do their homework at the same time because it is Arkansas and you never know. So, but yes, we will have those on our website on Monday morning.
I'm going to do this, Derek, and I think there may be a high amount of interest for it. I'm going to give a kind of a personal timeline of how this travel thing is going to work. Okay, so this is Saturday evening, 9 o'clock. Roads are trashed. You have no business being out on the roadways whatsoever. Unless you are an emergency manager or you are an essential worker, you got no business being out there. Okay, tomorrow, don't expect to go anywhere either. Okay, precipitation in the morning. That's all set and done by lunch. There could be a few peaks of sunshine throughout the afternoon, but there's no way you're going anywhere tomorrow. There's no way. You're going to have too much cloud cover, too much precipitation tomorrow. You're not going to go anywhere tomorrow. Okay, so now we're at Monday. Monday morning, sun comes out. It's beautiful. It's blue skies. It's cold. Temperatures are going to be below zero first thing Monday morning. My guess right now, we're going to get to Monday afternoon. Your interstates and your main roads. I'm talking Interstate 30, Interstate 40, Interstate 57 now, or Highway 167. I'm going to call it 167. Those types of roads. I would expect those roads to try to get back to some normalcy by then. And those are your main points of connection for like essential workers, emergency managers, and stuff like that. Those are the only roads I fully anticipate to have some sort of improvement. Everybody else, the back roads, the city roads, are going to be trashed on Monday. Okay? Much of the day are going to be below freezing. There could be some localized improvements, but it's not going to get back to normal within 24 to 48 hours. So this is what we're trying to tell you. Okay? I understand the cabin fever is going to start setting in and everything like that. I get it. But this is just the nature of the beast here. That's the kind of winter storm that we've had. On Tuesday, sun comes out again. temperatures begin to try to moderate. I fully anticipate your city roads, your interstates, your main roads should have decent improvement by Tuesday. How is that going to affect schools? We don't control that. We don't control that. That is your school administrator. That is your superintendents. We do not control if school's going to be in or out. Those are those guys' choice. They are in that position to make that choice. We just report said choice. Okay. So, like Derek said, I don't fully anticipate, to be honest with you, Derek, it'd be a miracle if it's back by Thursday. I could see it Wednesday, depending on how much improvement we can get between Monday and Tuesday. But I can also see this being dragged out to Thursday. And if we get another system that comes in late week, then you're talking additional school delays. Okay, so be patient with RDOT. I know what's getting ready to happen here. It happens with every winter storm. I understand bills still got to be paid. You still got to get out. Everybody still has a job to do. I understand that 100%, and you will never hear us, get on to you guys about that. At the same time, these types of systems cause a lot of havoc on the roads. And what we have to do is our job is to make sure that you guys are being safe and we don't cause accidents out there. And that's just more work for RDOT and those emergency guys that have to be out there no matter what for them to do. Okay, because when they go out there, little do you guys know, they put their lives on the line when they go out there. Those emergency guys, those RDOT guys, the ones that are out there regardless, they put their lives on the line when they go out there. So let's try to make their jobs as easy as possible. And if we can do that, if we can give them a couple of days of being in-house, I promise you they're going to work their tails off to get the travel back and get the roadways back to being normal. And I think by Wednesday and Thursday, things should start to get back to where we were and where we were by this time last week, if that makes sense here. Okay, so yeah, go ahead.
All right, so I want you to know you now have been deemed a bad weather blazer cam. Also to note, we now have a challenge between Jim Cantori and Cameron's Blazer. We also have a challenge as to which chicken is better, Popeyes or KFC. We also have a conversation about whether or not Cam needs to wear a blazer in severe weather. So we know if he's wearing the blazer, it's good. If the blazer comes off, we all need to run.
I'll make y'all a deal. If the blazer comes off, yeah, we're in some trouble. I'll make you a deal. I'll make you a deal there. Okay. If I wear the blazer at the beginning, it's not that bad. But if I come up here and I have to roll the sleeves up like Jaden Spann and everything, you might want to consider getting that tornado shelter. Okay. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there in March. Y'all are great. The comments are great. I'm glad everybody's chilled out and everything like that. It's been a long week. Preparing for this winter storm, getting things ready to go and everything. I'm glad to see you guys chilling out and everything. So that's what we got right now here. So the reason why go ahead.
On this one too, Cam.
Yeah.
So the reason why a lot of Northeast Arkansas folks are worried, the local weather station telling them they're going to get freezing rain, and then just cut the feed off and left. Didn't explain anything, just freezing rain and left.
Oh.
So
wow.
I'll be curious to find out who that would be because I know Ryan Vaughn wouldn't do that.
No,
because Ryan Vaughn dude.
No. That man's a professional. There's no way.
We're not expecting freezing rain in Northeast Arkansas. I promise y'all that.
No. Yeah. I mean, I can look at the data real quick. I think you guys are just too far north. Just to be honest with you here, and I see it, but I think what's going on, Derek, is there's a lot of probably a lot of maps going around of the HRR showing that freezing rain. I want to give a quick shout out to Sydney, a great friend of mine. He helps me out whenever we have these situations. We talk about soundings and we chase a lot and everything. If he's watching this, he knows who he is. So I had a conversation with him earlier about the HRR, and we both agree that the HRR can have a freezing rain bias because we looked at the soundings and everything supports sleet more than freezing rain up there. And it just makes sense because you guys are so far north. I don't think you guys are going to have a freezing rain issue up there in Northeast Arkansas. I think there's just too much colder vegetation up there for you guys to have any freezing rain issues here. Now, if that warm air vegetation were to suddenly move north overnight, we could talk a little bit of freezing rain up there. I think majority of that is sleet, and that's why we have our sleet map. That's why we have this upwards to 2 inches of sleet up there. I just don't think you're going to see this widespread amount of freezing rain up there. Now, obviously, we'll be here during the overnight hours. Obviously, if that warm air were to creep north more than what the model data is showing right now, then yes, that possibility opens up, and then we will have that conversation. But right now, I think you guys are just going to be too cold aloft for freezing rain. I think majority of it should be sleet. And then, as you get into sunrise tomorrow morning, everything should just switch over to all snow. So regardless of what happens overnight, everything at some point tomorrow for everybody will switch over to snow before the system gets out of here by early tomorrow morning here, okay? So let's see, Derek, if you got any more comments, I think that's it. And we'll go from there. Okay, so need a blazer with the sleeves rolled up to meter to gauge how bad the weather is going to be, Tyler. I'll consider it done. I'll get it done. I've got a lot of outfit ideas for the spring here. We'll I'm seeing the comments. I'm seeing them on my monitor over here. Yeah, y'all are awesome. Y'all are awesome. Let's see here. What about the power outage potential in El Dorado? Is it high or low? We need to prepare for things for tonight. Good comment, Lincoln. I think down there could be some issues with power. Primarily if you see predominantly freezing rain. Energy's been doing really good. Like I said before, it's been really good at staying on top of those power outages. We haven't had a significant amount in that area. It's mainly been over there in Texarkana and Southwest Arkansas. That's where you've had all those power outage issues over the last 24 hours. But tonight, with that wave 2 coming in, with the freezing rain moving in, there could be some power outages down there. So what I would do is just be prepared for it. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean everybody in South Arkansas is going to lose lights. But if you start getting some really heavy freezing rain down there and it starts accumulating on those power lines, that could lead to some issues down there. So just prepare for that. And like I said before, mainly it's going to be freezing rain and sleet at times. Should transition over to snow by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon here. So not expecting it to be a widespread area of power outages, but just be prepared. And when we talk about being prepared for power outages, make sure if you have a generator, just make sure that's working and everything like that. Making sure that obviously this is stuff that you have to prepare for in days in advance of it, but your perishable food and all that good stuff here. So I think that's it, Derek. If you got anything else you need to add before. Yeah, you can go ahead. Yeah, you can go ahead.
All right, so I know everybody just wanting kind of a last look of our radar here again. Like we talked about, there's going to be a lot of moisture that still has to come through the state over the next, let's call it 12 to 18 hours here, moving from east to west, southwest to northeast. Again, we have had a lot of dry air intrusions, which is kind of was not expected, but with any winter storm we get, it always happens. So the biggest thing is this: our low pressure down here still has to move through the southern U.S. and get out of here. So until this low moves out, we will be dealing with an increasing amount of precip during the overnight hours. Again, it's going to start, like we've seen, up in the northwest half of the state and gradually overspread the state as we go throughout the overnight hours.
Yep. So I'm going to say, you got me. Okay. All right. So I think that's pretty much it, Derek. We've gone over everything here. Obviously, we're going to have the graphics on the page. What I would recommend, one of my guys can take care of in the comments, go download our weather app. I sent that link for you guys to post. If y'all can get that link into the comments, that'd be great. That link that they're going to share in there will take you straight to our mobile app, regardless if you have an Apple or you have Android. It'll take you straight there. Go download our weather app. Very useful. Like I said before, tomorrow Derek's going to have your evening forecast on there. It gives you everything you need to know about what's going on. Also, go download our weather channel, 24/7 Natural State Weather Live. Okay, that channel, and I haven't even looked at the numbers here. I've had a lot of people say that they love it. It gives you everything you need to know. It has radar, futurecast, road conditions, current temperatures, current conditions, and also a look at our sky cams across the state of Arkansas. And it even has your current alerts under all that as well here. So a very useful 24/7 channel. It's called Natural State Weather Live. And like I said before, I love that, by the way. Yeah, I see that comment. Who was that? Aaron. I've mentioned finding him a bright pink blazer for springtime would be great for tornado warnings here. Now, I want to make this clear before I do this. Tough men wear pink. Okay, I don't want any of those other comments. Y'all know what I'm talking about if I start wearing a pink blazer up here. Okay, so let's see, not a bright pink blazer. Yeah. All right, I ain't doing all that, y'all. I'm not doing all that. I am not doing all that during a tornado warning. Absolutely not. Y'all are funny. I'll get Derek up here to do all that. I ain't. No, no, ma'am. So. Derek, if you got anything else, man, I think that's pretty much it. So, I've gone over everything. We've gone over the amounts, the radar, and all that. I think we're pretty much just chilling now. So, what you looking at over there? You're good?
I've been admiring all the pink blazer comments.
Oh my God. Okay, I gotta look at this.
Now, see.
Hang on, I gotta look at this over here. So,
all right, so one thing about it is now y'all done put pressure on me because now I'm going to have to get a blazer too to do this as well.
Look, I love that comment. Real men wear pink. Yeah, real men wear pink. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. It won't, I promise you, it will not bother me whatsoever. So let me see, these cold temperatures finally, oh man. All right, so let me see here. Okay, so, all right, I think that's pretty much it, Derek. I'm not really seeing any other thing here. I think that's pretty much it. Okay, so what is the app? Oh, there it is. That's the link I was wanting. So that one right there. If I'm gonna leave that up so that way you guys kind of see what that link looks like. That's gonna be the link. If you guys get any questions about where to go to download that, that's gonna be the link to go to. I see this question too about next weekend. We're gonna talk a little bit about that as we move into tomorrow. Derek, you get to have that forecast. Yep. You get to have that forecast tomorrow. From what I have seen, it looked like it backed away, but I don't know. I haven't gotten that far yet here. So Heidi says I need to wear suits correlating to the severe risk here. Y'all, okay? Are y'all buying these suits? Have y'all? What is that store where you go and buy those suits, Derek? I can't think of it. Where is it called? I can't think of the store name.
What? Are we talking about like the actual good suits?
Like the $3,000 suits.
Oh Lord, I don't know.
like I had look. I unless y'all coughing that up, So, yeah. Somebody said we both can wear blazers. I got to get you one. Now. I've worn one. You gotta have one now here. Okay. So I can see a TikTok coming to blazers in the spring. You know what? That's actually a good idea. You know what? That's a really good idea. And I like Heidi's idea of doing it per risk. So like if it's a marginal risk, I have one, and then there's a slight risk and enhanced. I had a couple ideas for the moderate risk. Yeah, I see that from Sam. Yes, we do. I love this comment. We do. If you own a suit company, Men's Warehouse, yeah, you own a suit company, you can become a sponsor. I mean, I love that. I love that comment from Sam. Yeah, we need a suit sponsor. That way we can have it for spring. So if you own one, you know someone who owns one, just have them send out an email. We'll get them taken care of. I think they'll get a lot of traffic for the spring. That'd be awesome. So a blue one for snow, black for tornadoes, and yellow for sunshine. I like that. I like these comments are coming in. These are some awesome comments coming in. Okay, so let me see here. Let me go.
So let me add to this. Okay, so look, we want this much energy on Monday because we have a humongous announcement coming on Monday.
Yeah.
And so we may actually do a small live stream or video for that.
Yeah.
We ain't decided yet which one it's going to be. But, I want this much energy for everybody on Monday when we announce what we're fixing to announce. Yeah. It's going to be humongous for the state of Arkansas.
Definitely. Yeah. So, Dang, there. I was gonna say something, and I come. No. It was about that. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So, you guys last night. I'll have everybody here. We're wrapping things up here before we kind of hop off and go back to regular programming. So about Monday, guys, it's not a weather event. It's not anything significant. Weather, we're not expecting any tornadoes or anything like that on Monday. It's a very special project that we've got planned. As a matter of fact, I want to give I'll give a small teaser out. Okay, Ryan Hall last night gave us a shout out on his live show. If you guys follow Ryan Hall, you guys know who he is. Big national guy. He covers the entire continental United States. He's got over 3 million people on YouTube, etc. He gave us a big shout out last night on his live stream. We gave him a shout out last night as well. There's a big project coming. Okay. I can't go into too much details with it, but I want you guys, all the people that we've got right now, I want you guys to be here Monday, because I think when you guys find out what the project we've been working on, it's really going to create a lot of excitement. It's also going to generate a lot of interest in that project, guys. Okay, so I can't talk about it right now here, but I want you guys to be here Monday. Okay, and it does involve Ryan Hall. It does. It really does, and it's gonna. And like so far, I think it's going to be awesome. But we'll talk more about that once we get into the Monday time frame here. Okay, so other than that, you're going to like the way you look. I guarantee it. I love that. I love that comment. I love that here. So I'm sorry, I just got on what's coming up for Sharp County up there in Northeast Arkansas. Pretty much the same story. We've got Wave 2 moving in, as you can see on our radar right now here, and it's pretty much going to be snow and sleet overnight. Should end as snow. It's moving tomorrow morning, and then everything's going to be out of here by the time we get into tomorrow afternoon into tomorrow evening, guys. Okay, so we will know the forecast by what color you're wearing. Yeah, that's, you know what, Darren, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that this spring. There's a lot of interest in it. I think I'm going to do it here, but I would prefer if we had a suit sponsor. Like, if you know anybody that sells suits, have them holler at us. Like, we'll work something out, and we'll get that kind of going for the spring here. And speaking of the spring, we have one sponsor, a Tornado Shelter Place. Not trying to freak anybody out right now, but what I would do with it being January, if you need something like that, go holler at them. Also, go holler at Yates Maintenance. Those guys, I talked to Misty the other day, and boy, they've been so busy with heating and all that. Go talk to them if you're having any issues with that. Other than that, guys, I think that's pretty much it. We've gone over everything. We're gonna have the graphics lined out as soon as the live stream's over on Facebook. That's pretty much it. Unless you want to, go ahead.
Just one more thing. So we don't know exactly what time we'll do the live stream on Monday yet, but I promise we will give y'all enough advance notice so that way y'all know. So a lot of people are like, we gotta know the time. Like, we don't even know time yet, because right now it's Saturday night, and tomorrow's gonna be a relaxed day after the week long of planning for winter weather. But ideally being is it will probably be in the afternoon. It just really depends on how things go. But you'll be the first to know, I promise.
So other than that, I think that's pretty much it, guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just kind of leave it on the radar here. Yeah, and the store I work with, Cabot, has affordable suits. We can order it for you. I love that. I love that, guys. So that's pretty much it, guys. From myself, Derek, and our rest of our Arkansas Weather Watchers team, this has been your winter weather update, and we will continue to keep you guys updated right here in your source for all things Arkansas weather.